Well, bam. Cool.
Is that wabam enough?
That's wabam enough for me.
Does that thing have a compass on it?
No,
it's a level.
I just moved that around.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the level so that when you're doing, because this is meant for a camera.
I guess everything's on the level, eh, Patrick?
That sounds pretty good to me. I like that joke, Jason.
Let's cut that part out.
Yeah. All right.
No. Yes. Welcome to the Retro Fatcast.
Yeah, let's call it that now instead of saying podcast number 3 or
I know.
4.
It's a podcast. It's a podcast that might never be on an actual iPod.
Well, I don't think anyone owns an iPod
yeah.
anymore. It's all like phones and stuff,
Yeah.
but whatever.
It could still be on a phone through iTunes.
It's more like a bitch in shorts.
Yes. It is
Exactly.
more like a bitch in shorts.
Exactly. All right, so here we are doing Retro Fatcast 4.
Wow.
4. Okay.
Okay. So,
good to know.
Yeah, it's number 4.
Let us introduce ourselves. I am Jason.
I'm Wes.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Patrick, and we also have some guy playing video games near
I'm
us.
Lloyd.
Lloyd.
That's Lloyd in
Okay,
the back.
Okay.
Apparently. Yes. Alrighty.
I thought he was someone else.
So,
It doesn't matter.
yeah.
Okay.
Pay no mind to the man behind
So
us.
we haven't
We're
really
just
come up with
faceless
a
voices
like,
right now. It really doesn't matter
Yeah,
what our names
until
are.
One day
never
we'll
gets
put
to
our
a
pictures on the
camera.
internet and everyone can be horrified by our visage.
They're like, that's nothing what I thought they looked
The
like.
guy with the high-pitched voice? Oh my god, look at him.
Have mercy. Okay.
So far we haven't even like really come up with like any structure or anything. Like there's the first podcast we won, it was pretty good. Second podcast was pretty awesome. You guys did great. And then third podcast I went crazy and talked over all you guys. And now I don't know.
Let's talk about video games
Yeah.
at least at the start. What we played last
We're
week.
pretty much doing it like about video games, which is what what is the whole idea of Retro Fatcast. So
What
that's
other stuff?
good.
Quiet down, Lloyd.
So okay, let's start. I heard that Jason, you have something you maybe wanted to. What's one of the things you wanted to talk about? Let's see. What were you thinking about?
Mario RPG.
Yes. Okay. So this last week, we all probably played video games. I was playing Super Mario RPG. It is a great game starring everyone's favorite portly pyrokinetic plumber. It's actually really fun. It's a good game for Super Nintendo. If you haven't played it, play it. It's great. But the reason I wanted to talk about it, mainly, there's this one thing you can do in the game that's with Mario. One of his special moves, like it's an RPG, you fight, you can attack enemies or whatever. Each character has special moves. Like Mario can throw fireballs and jump on dudes. Mallow can shoot lightning bolts at people, typical
Peach heals
RPG
people.
stuff. Yes. Yeah. And Bowser doesn't do a damn thing because he's not a good character.
I've used him before.
He's supposed to be the strong guy with like lots of health and strength, but like his magic moves suck. And later on in the game, like you don't need like terrible magic move, and the other characters have better weapons. Gino has better magic. Like you don't need that.
But it's fun making a giant Mecha Koopa land on people.
Well. Anyway. My point is, okay, so one of Mario's special moves is Super Jump, where you jump on the enemy, and with good timing, you keep hitting the special move button over and over again every time Mario lands on the enemy to keep him jumping over and over again continuously. Now, you can jump on the guy pretty easily the first 10 times or so, and after that, the timing becomes more strict. So the window of opportunity you have to hit the button and jump an additional time gets lower every consecutive jump until about 20 or something, where you basically have like, I don't know, 1/50th in a second to like
Push
the button or it screws up. Like really tight, like almost exactly perfect timing, and if you screw up in the slightest millisecond, you're done. Your special move's over.
Are you able to do that every time? Like, are you pretty like an expert at it?
Well, see, that's the thing. It depends on the enemy. Some enemies are like flying in the air and they float up and down while they move. And
it
it
makes
makes
the
the timing different.
Okay.
Some enemies it's easier than others to jump on because they stand still.
Huh.
Now, why is this important? Well, obviously, if you jump on the enemy more times, you do more damage in one move. That's, you want to do that to kill him faster. But it was never, like, I've had this game since I was a kid, and I've never been able to do more than, like, 20 jumps maybe at the most.
Okay.
Until recently where I started doing better and better. The most jumps you can do in the game in one attack with super jump is 100. Now, if you hit that number, it stops you. You're done. But to get 100 is one of the most grueling things I've ever had to do in video games. Now, you have to, like I said, you have like 1/50th of a fraction of a negative non-second to hit the button and jump on the guy, and it's really hard to do.
The more jumps you do, it literally just gets exponentially harder.
You basically have to hit it with absolutely perfect timing.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's like something I haven't heard being in any RPG ever.
Well, that was the gimmick. Like when Mario RPG came out, it was a fantastic new approach. Like you could hit A and attack the enemy, sure, like every RPG. But in this, there was an action element. So Mario is about to punch the enemy or whatever.
Yeah.
In a Final Fantasy game, say, it would just
it would just make it happen.
Just do the attack.
But here,
Mario,
there's always an action element.
Yeah,
right.
There's always an action element. So you do a move, you hit a button, and then it'll do an additional move if you do it with good timing.
And then it's not completely up to a dice roll whether you hit with the attack or not.
Right.
Also.
Well, there's still the typical RPG stuff. Sometimes you'll just miss a guy no matter what. But it is a way to encourage the player to pay attention more instead of just mashing the A button until battle's over. If you do it with good timing, you can do extra damage, get extra healing effect, whatever. And super jump, again, it was the hardest thing to do. To get 100 jumps in a row, you have to do it perfectly, like 100 times in a row. It's impossible. Never been able to do it. At the most, got me 20 or so.
Okay.
Until just the other day, I managed to finally get 100 super jumps in a row.
Wow, cool, awesome. Wait,
dude,
what happens?
Everyone needs to be way more excited for this.
We're all just like,
it has taken me damn near 20 years.
Thank you, Jason, for that very good explanation of the.
So what? Wait, what?
Damn right, good job.
Didn't you say something specific happens when you get?
What happens when you get 100?
Okay, well, if you get 30 jumps in a row, there's a guy in the game you talk to, he'll keep track of how many super jumps you've done.
Okay.
If you get 30, you get a cool attack item for Mario that makes him strong. If you do 100 in a row, he also gives you a piece of armor.
Yeah.
Anyone can wear it, and it basically makes the character invincible. It raises all their stats by the most in the game, gives them tons of speed, and it's basically a super item. And you give it to a guy, and you're basically invincible. It breaks the game.
Cool.
Yeah, I
That's the advantage of doing this, aside from bragging rights. And I indeed tend to brag about this. It has taken me about 20 years to fucking do this.
All right.
I finally did it.
Yes.
It is the hardest thing I've ever had to do
what?
in an RPG.
20 years? How long has that game been out?
Since 94 or so.
Holy shit, it's really been over 20 years.
Or maybe it came out in 95.
Wow, that's still about 20 years.
Yeah, about 20 years.
Holy crap. Oh my god, I'm old.
I did do it once and got that item, and it makes your guys invincible, but
it's the most nerve-wracking 74 seconds of your life.
Wait. Here's something I'm fascinated. I want to know, would they ever consider doing a Mario RPG 2?
Well, they have. See, they've done the Paper Mario series since then.
Oh, that's got it?
And
that's like
even though it's a different it's not a direct sequel.
Yeah.
It's a different style. They're all different stories, but with Mario characters. But it's all the same type of RPG elements where you start a fight, and then it's pick a dude, hit A to attack. And then if you hit the button again, you do it with timing, and you get extra attacks. The Mario and Luigi series also follows the same format. There's no continuation.
But there isn't an actual
pseudo sequels. There's no actual sequel with the actual characters that they in the story that they invented for Mario RPG.
Well, Square Enix never got a chance to do it, or never did it, right? Like
Squaresoft did the first Mario RPG on Super Nintendo, which is only one.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, Nintendo just did their own. They probably had some other company. I think Intelligent Systems did Paper Mario.
Oh, you know what that has something to do with? Probably, I don't know, but it does have to do with like exclusivity deals between Sony and Square Enix during the Sony PlayStation versus N64 thing.
Well, when Squaresoft went over to the PlayStation during the N64 that era. Of course, Nintendo didn't have them anymore for making games. Okay. But Nintendo has since published many great RPGs. The Mario and Luigi, Paper Mario, those are great games. They use the same mechanics. They might look different. They have different stories, different characters, but that's all, it's the same exact type of gameplay. And Mario RPG was one of the first ones, if not the first, RPG to have these action elements that made the battles more than just a simple button mashing affair.
It'd be cool to see Square Enix do something again for Nintendo, I think, like with like a Nintendo character.
Well, they
or something.
are sort of doing stuff again. Like they've been making games, like Feet Rhythm for 3DS. Like,
Oh wow, what the hell is that?
that is basically a rhythm game, but
Yeah.
it has Final Fantasy music.
Okay.
And
Oh wow.
Final Fantasy characters and
Oh, that
setting.
sounds awesome.
I have it. It's actually really fun, and they
Cool.
made a sequel. I haven't played the sequel, but it's fun.
Feet Riven? How do you?
Feet Rhythm. So it's like theater and rhythm combined into one.
Oh, okay,
I know it's
That came out a
stupid.
while ago.
It's
huh?
fucking dumb.
Like a couple
But
years ago.
the game is fun. Yes,
Okay.
it came out maybe a year or two ago, and they just recently sort of did a sequel.
And
Okay.
kind of like Rock Band, push the
Yeah.
button at the certain time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like buttons will go across the
That's
screen
awesome.
where you tap, tap, tap,
It
and
is
time for the
Harmonix.
music.
Is it Harmonix that did it?
No.
Or I mean, Square Enix?
It's Squaresoft,
Okay,
yeah.
right. I'm just thinking it's like Harmonix does all the shit. Like,
Now, as far as another game that mixed like there's never. Okay, so in Mario RPG, it was basically the Mario characters. There was a couple new characters that they made for the game, specifically Mallow and Geno.
And
Those
Booster.
two guys have not been in a game since, more or less. Other than maybe a weird cameo here and there. They've never done another game with those characters, which is too bad because they were good characters. It was a good story. The game was great, had some of the best like graphics and music on the Super Nintendo, like right up there with Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI, which is to be expected at Square. It's one of the best games on the system, and pulling off the 100 super jumps is one of the hardest things I ever had to do, and I can't believe I actually pulled it off. Like,
good job,
Yeah,
Jason.
it's
Yeah.
kind of something you only
Let
do
me
once.
pat you on the back.
Yes,
Thank
let us
you.
literally pat you on the back.
Hooray.
The only thing that
Even
I
Lloyd
can
gave you a pat on the
compare,
back.
the only thing I can compare to doing that, if you think 74 seconds of grueling, like heart pounding stuff, is Final Fantasy X, where you have to dodge lightning 1,000 times in a row.
Yeah.
1,000
What?
times.
How do you dodge lightning?
I never
So,
did that.
There's one point in Final Fantasy X. It's called
Seems
the
like
lightning
everyone knows
planes. When
about
you're just
that.
walking around, randomly there'll be a flash. The screen will
Yeah,
flash,
yeah.
and you have to push the X button, and you will dodge a bolt of lightning. Otherwise, you get struck by the lightning.
You have a millisecond to do it.
I've
Yeah.
never done that before.
It
I always
is-
just got hit.
It's really hard, but you get an ultimate weapon if you dodge 1,000 bolts in a row.
That sounds like an.
And I sat there for like hours upon hours doing it. There's like one spot that you can go to where you're pretty much guaranteed to have a bolt within like a second or two after you step there, because otherwise it's just like completely random when they come.
Did you do it 1,000 times?
Yes, I
my God.
I actually did it, and yeah, but there's one spot where when you stand there, it'll flash like a second or two after you stand there, and you dodge it, and then 90% of the time there'll be another one right afterwards. So you literally have to flash, dodge, and move back to that spot real quick, and then flash, dodge, and just doing that 1,000 times takes forever. But then you get to like 900 something, and you miss one.
Wow.
You just want to tear your hair out because you're literally there for an hour
That is not something I can do.
dodging lightning bolts.
That's the one thing I could think of that's worse than the Mario jumps.
And
And the Mario jumps,
Yeah.
you get to like 70 and then 80, and you just start panicking inside, subconsciously going, oh my god, I can't believe I'm actually doing good, because up to that point I was just thinking, I can do 30 or 40 now, okay, but I always screw it up, whatever. I get to 50, hey, I'm doing good, and then 60, then 70, and it's like, holy crap, I might actually do this, and it's like, you get to 90, it's like, man, if I screw up now, I think I'm gonna have to kill myself, and then I actually pull it off, and it's just the best goddamn feeling ever.
Too bad nobody was there to enjoy it.
Yeah. I was all, no, I swear I did. I swear. No, I mean, I could,
Best feeling
I
ever.
could turn on the game and there's the super item. Like, you can't, like, cheat and get it. But
I can think of some better feelings, maybe. No.
I don't know. It was pretty great. After I wiped off my screen, I was able to. Now, it seems like Squaresoft likes inventing the most punishing bullshit in games ever just to piss people
Yeah.
off and then hide like a super item behind it because.
All right, hold on just a sec. I want to check in on Lloyd. He seems to be playing the game over there.
He's
Hello.
playing Bugsy.
On the Super Nintendo.
on the Super Nintendo.
Bubsy.
Everyone hears Bubsy and they think, "Oh, Bubsy 3D, that game's garbage." Yeah. Well,
But no,
the
Bubsy
first
was
Bubsy,
awesome.
the first Bubsy's cool. It's a good game. It's not great, but it's good.
You can run really fast. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of like
it's
Sonic.
not-
You can
running
run really
super
fast.
It's not
Man.
Sonic, but yeah, you're a bobcat. Hooray.
But yeah, one hit
Yeah.
from anything and you're dead.
Wow.
So Bubsy came
Hey, it's a
about.
hot dog.
At least you get to enjoy watching him die.
So what's Bubsy about? What the hell is Bubsy about? He's a cat?
He is a cat. These weird aliens called Woolies came down. They stole all the Earth's yarn balls. Bubsy, being a cat naturally, wants to get the yarn back. So that's your
yeah,
story.
but he's a bobcat. What kind of bobcat plays with yarn balls?
Now, on,
Dude, just shut up and go with it.
like compared to things like maybe like Rystar or something like that, is Bubsy a good game? Like,
Not
Oh,
compared
not
to
compared to
compared to
Ristar's
Rystar,
way
Ristar,
better.
whatever.
alright.
you
Or
wanna
like
call it.
other like secondary kind of like forgotten.
Yes, it came about in an era where every company felt they had to invent their own like cute
It's-
mascot.
It's miles better than Arrow the Acrobat.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow, I don't even remember what he looks like.
It's not.
He or what?
He's
Well,
a bat.
it's-
He's
he's a
terrible.
Yeah,
I like
no,
Jazz
it's-
Jack Rabbit.
what was Arrow for? What system was Arrow for?
Genesis.
Genesis, yeah,
And probably Super
And-
Nintendo. It's
Okay.
like most of these
yeah.
games came
I
out
have
of-
it for Genesis, and
What are all of the?
the absolute worst part about that game is the god awful circus music that plays through the whole game. It's so
Oh, the music's terrible.
It's
horribly
funny
irritating.
because Bubsy
It's
has a
awful.
circus level, which Lloyd is playing
the
right
music
now.
It's
just like
so
that?
much more tolerable, though. I don't know what. The
Yeah, the
difference
music
is.
in Bubsy's actually pretty decent. Like,
Cool.
it's a fun game. It's colorful. It's got good animation. It's just tough. The difficulty was insane. You get hit once by anything, you're dead. Now,
A lot of memory learning on where you
Yeah.
died the last 6 times.
most of these games
Get
have
a
some
little bit
kind of
further
health
and-
bar or health system. Like Sonic, you have the rings. So if you run fast, you're going to get hit, but you're not dead because of
Yeah,
it.
that was an interesting system.
Not in
It's
this.
a good mechanic. You take out the rings in Sonic, and you'll get the idea. It's like there you
Mario
go.
had like something like that, but it was very much simpler. It was just big and small.
Yeah,
Like, and it was like
and
then
Mario controlled much better. Like Bubsy has an interesting feel to it. The momentum is interesting. It works in a way that makes sense, but everything overall, it's a pretty good game.
so wait, is Bubsy? So Bubsy, you get hit once and you're dead.
You get hit once
Yeah.
in Bubsy,
Yeah.
you die.
And they have boss battles.
Which, yeah, that's great. But Bubsy 2 actually fixed this. Bubsy 2, you got health. But Bubsy 2 had a lot of other weird shit. Like, the gameplay didn't feel as good. It was all stiff. It had a lot of bizarre levels that weren't fun. It had, like, items like, you could pick up, like, a Nerf gun and stuff, but they weren't very good. It just lost focus. It wasn't fun. There was a Jaguar Bubsy game.
Yeah.
Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Which actually,
Oh, really?
from what little I've seen of it, because I don't have an Atari Jaguar. Come
Yeah.
on, I'm not insane. It actually looked pretty good. It
Did
looked
Jaguar
fun.
have any other like
And then, of
like,
course, there was-
mascots or
I don't
was it-
think so.
What
And
system
then there was Bubsy 3D, which of
Oh.
course is horrendous. Everyone knows about it, and it's terrible.
Okay.
The end. Then Bubsy's dead. That's
What
it.
about Bonk? What system was Bonk on?
Turbo Graphics, like
Oh,
PC
okay.
Engine.
Okay.
Bonk, yeah. I mean, they released it on other consoles like Nintendo eventually, but
Yeah.
it was a Hudson Soft sort of deal, kind of like Master Higgins with Adventure Island. But
So,
Bonk
like, that-
was pretty fun. It
The
was a good
mascots
game.
I can think of that had any traction after like
Mario and Sonic. Earthworm
Were-
Jim was pretty good.
Earthworm Jim had
There was
some-
only a
yeah.
couple of games more or less, and then after a while there was nothing. I mean, they had a cartoon, they had toys, it was great. Earthworm Jim 1 and 2 are fantastic games, but then they did Earthworm Jim 3D and it was garbage, and
Yeah.
that pretty much killed it.
I think the problem with Bonk is he just wasn't a very memorable character. He
Also,
was just
like,
a
who wants to
big-headed
play
baby.
as Bonk? Like, I guess
A caveman with
did people like
gigantitis.
Bonk? Was that a good game? Or?
Yes,
I,
Bonk is
yeah,
good. There
I
were
mean,
several.
I'm sure I actually haven't played it. I'm sure the game is good. It's just he's not a memorable character at all.
Okay.
He's just a.
Oh, it's a
I don't
caveman
know.
with a
Huh.
giant forehead. That's
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing really appealing about the aesthetic. It's just, it was all right. You could like spin around the air and like power slam people with your giant noggin.
Sounds fun.
No, you would actually
So,
fall
Wes-
on people with your
Yeah.
head.
Let's like well, what other games? Wait, before I go on, what other games have you been playing?
I finished Jazz Punk.
Okay,
That game, wow, that game is an experience.
okay.
For those who don't know, Jazz Punk, it's available on Steam, $15.
It's a first-person shooter.
It's a first-person game. It's not a shooter.
Okay.
You just sort of wander around these weird worlds, and you basically just see what there is to offer. Like, they give you little goals, like get into this building and get an item.
Yeah.
Okay, but most of the fun is getting there. The fun, you can finish the stage in 2 seconds if you know what you're doing. The fun in Jazz Punk is running around this weird-ass world and seeing what crazy nonsense comes out of it.
Cool.
Every little nook and cranny just has something strange happening.
Yeah.
You meet all these weird characters. Everybody in the game looks like a robot or a bathroom, like, sign, like a man on a bathroom sign. No neck, the circle head with a
There's a
triangle
lot of
body.
weird shit. I've seen like so many like videos about that game. Like it's pretty. It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Like, how,
yeah.
so you finished it?
I'd
How
like
long
to
is it?
try it, but
If you haven't played Jazz Punk,
You do
play
have
it.
it.
It's
Well,
worth it.
well, Jason has it.
Jason has it, but I don't have it.
I'm probably gonna buy it eventually just to try
You should
it
just
out.
sign in on Jason's
is a-
account.
No. No, but it's... Now, the thing is, I was led to believe the game might have been a little longer than it was. By the time it was over, I was kind of like, oh, wow, it's over. It just sort of ended all of a sudden. And
Was it a funny end or was it a good end?
it was
or-
all right. Like, moreover...
You just want more
I
at the
you
end.
want more of it. I mean, that's a sign of a good game. It
Yeah.
leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it was a little too short, I think.
Yeah.
But if it went on too long, then it definitely would have outstayed its welcome. It would have worn off. The kind of humor it is.
I like the. It looks
But
like
it
a
is
game I
very
would
Kind
like.
of like went out on a high note.
It's hard for me
Yeah,
to get a
it did
gauge
go
when I
out
watch
on
videos
top.
of that game. It's hard for me to even understand what the hell's happening. Like I know it's just a bunch of random jokes and stuff, but what's like the gameplay part of it?
You're basically...
It's just kind of the experience, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you want a story or setup, or you're
Is it more like an RPG or is it more
No.
like an action game or is it more like a adventure
it's
game?
more like an adventure game.
Okay, all right.
You're basically this agent who has to complete these little missions in these worlds.
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell you to get into a building and steal an item or whatever, and you can do that. It takes like a minute if you know what you're doing. But there's so many weird ways to pull like to get there and actually do the mission. It requires lots of weird nonsense, but it really is just about the experience. Like if you just watch a video of a guy playing it, you're probably going to not like it at all, or you're going to see the jokes and they're going to be spoiled. Like if you're interested at all, watch a little bit of a video and then run, don't walk to your nearest keyboard and play Jazz Punk. I recommend it. 5 thumbs up. It is great.
Awesome. That's a lot of thumbs. Are they opposable?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, one of them is.
Oh, good.
Also,
My third thumb is opposable.
lastly,
Oh,
yeah.
delicious.
Lastly,
suck
I
your
have
thumb?
played.
I used to be able to.
Oh.
I don't want to continue this conversation. God. Also, I started playing The Fall.
The fall.
What's the fall?
The Fall is also a Steam PC game. $10. I don't remember the developer's name, but it is a very interesting game.
Okay.
The basic premise, so it's like a side-scrolling platformer almost.
This sounds somehow
It's
familiar.
more of an adventure game.
Okay. It sounds somehow familiar. I might have seen a video of this or two on the
They have
Wait,
done
let me
videos
just ask,
of it.
like, just make sure. I'm sure you're fine, but like any
But-
little hint on that. I'm just telling people about don't hit the tripod. It's gonna make noise. I'm sorry, I cut you off, Jason. Keep going.
Well, as I was saying, I've got this hammer here. I'm just gonna whack this tripod with it. No, but okay. So The Fall, it's a side-scrolling adventure sort of game. Like there's a little platforming, and shooting, but it's mostly about an adventure game. It starts off. You see this robotic suit-looking thing fall. That's why it's called The Fall. Onto this planet,
Okay.
and you land in some cave.
Okay.
The suit gets up, and the suit has an AI.
Okay.
The AI is the one moving the suit.
Do you play as the suit?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Now, there's a person inside the suit.
Yes.
A pilot.
Yes.
Who is knocked unconscious, and it's the AI's job to. She's like, okay, my pilot is unconscious, he's alive, but I have to get him safe. That's
Okay.
the suit's directive.
Okay.
Save this pilot in the suit. Now, the way you interact with the environment, the suit will say like, I need to use my gun or something, but she can't without the pilot's authorization. The suit's not allowed to do certain things unless it's an emergency. Now,
oh, there's a good excuse.
yeah, so like the suit needs a camouflage feature, but she can't activate it herself. So you put the suit that you're controlling in danger, like in front of a turret, and get shot on purpose. And then the suit goes, now that it's an emergency, it overrides the I can't do this, and you can override it and get your shielding or invisibility.
That's
or
a really cool like gimmick or story excuse for this
for
is why you don't have all
abilities.
the abilities. It's like that should have been the plot for like I just keep thinking about when you were talking about that. I just keep thinking, oh, that's what they should have done with Metroid Other M.
Yeah. So see, I'm getting too off track here. It's a neat mechanic. Like, I haven't gotten more than maybe an hour or so into the game. There are a handful of abilities, and it seems like each one gets activated this way through a story thing. Like, all of a sudden, you need a gun. So once you get it, like, you can't shoot it or something, but then you do something to allow the suit to overwrite its AI safety protocols and get it. You know, and it's got a really good story. I haven't played through the whole game. I did have a bit of the story spoiled for me, which is unfortunate because it's kind of a wow moment.
It's a good story.
But the story is still good. The environments are really chilling and effective. It's got this very, like,
You
dark...
finished this, right?
I have not finished this. I've only played about an hour.
Okay.
It's supposed to be episodic. They have the first episode out now, and they're going to make, like, 1 or 2 more episodes.
Oh.
And everything I've heard about is great. Everything I've played about is great.
Is this on Xbox?
It is
or-
on PC.
PC.
On Steam.
On Steam.
Now,
Are you playing with a controller or just...
this is the one thing I have to address.
Okay.
It does. They say there's controller support,
Okay.
but I have not gotten my controller to work at all.
Okay.
I use a PlayStation 2 controller plugged in with a simple USB adapter I got at like a Radio Shack. It works for everything. It even works for Jazz Punk. But I can't get it to work for this game. And this game was designed with controller support in mind. Now, like, the way it works is you move with like one stick and aim with the other stick. You have to aim like a flashlight to look at stuff. You have to aim with a laser to shoot things. But without a controller, I gotta use keyboard and mouse. You move with a keyboard and you aim with the mouse. The mouse is really hard to aim with. It takes a long time to move the cursor up and down. I feel like I have to crank it. There's no settings for mouse sensitivity. There's no settings to change like controller support. There's very limited keyboard controls. The whole setup for the game, like, it's not very good. Like, I mean, the game itself is fantastic. Otherwise, I wouldn't put up with it. The interface, the controls, they aren't good at all.
Something they still need to work on.
They should have worked on the interface, the menus, and the controller support much better. Because I really want to play this with a controller. I really want to play this game in general, but the keyboard is not the way to go. If you want to play the fall, get a controller that works, and I wish
they're probably directly intended to be used with an Xbox 360
Yes,
controller.
Yeah,
so
it's like the
people,
standard
I was looking on some
controller now.
forums.
That seems to be like a big standard now for PC games. It's
Yeah,
actually
pretty
like...
much.
Yeah, but I have Xbox 360 controllers, but I don't have the wired one that you have to plug in. If
Right.
you use the wireless one plugged in with that USB charger dongle, doesn't
That
work.
doesn't work because that's just for charging.
Yeah.
But there are ways, and I know that we're just a little bit behind with the tech, I guess, because like I know it's pretty common to just be able to do a wireless controller with a PC.
Yeah, it requires some kind of wireless adapter rate,
Yeah,
and
I guess it comes
have
with
no
most-
idea how it works.
It probably
and-
comes with most new gaming PCs now, but like
And
I used to be really into building PCs and know a lot about that
maybe
stuff,
if I
but
dig
geez.
into it a little further, I'll find a way to get my controller work, or at the very least, I can get a hold of a wired Xbox
Yeah, just do a
controller.
little research.
Because I really want to play this game more.
Yeah.
And it was built for a controller in mind.
I'm sure you
Keyboard
can
and mouse does not work well at all.
If you could put any expansion into your PC, I bet you could just get something quick. But like, I'm sure that might be a little
Well,
expensive. I
and
don't
yeah,
know.
my computer's kind of so old at this point. I
Yeah.
don't want to fuck around with.
What's happening? What are we doing?
I don't want to fuck around with a
No, I was
controller.
just- Jason was looking over
controller
there. He was
adapter.
distracted by something, and I was like,
I
what
heard
what's
something.
happening?
Well, don't freak out. It's just Lloyd.
I'm freaking
back
out.
there.
Lloyd,
Stop
what are you
freaking
doing?
out.
What are you doing, Lloyd?
Zombies ate my neighbors.
Oh, yes, that's a good game. Lloyd's
Let's
playing-
talk about Zombies Ate My Neighbors for the next
Oh.
extra half hour.
Wait, let me
No,
just say
no,
something.
no,
Let me
no.
just say
I remember
something.
this game. This is fun.
I'm gonna butt in here.
This is
Basically,
fun.
I'm done with my little topic about the fall is great. Play it, but
sounds awesome.
get a controller because mouse and keyboard sucks. Their interface sucks, but the game, the atmosphere is really good, and I'm looking forward to playing it more.
Cool. I mean, I would totally want to play it. That sounds like based on what you've just told me, that's a really good setup for a game and story excuses for different gameplay elements and stuff.
Yeah,
I like
this
the-
AI that has to control this suit and unlock features to save the pilot by putting the pilot in harm's way.
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
a great idea. The whole story, the
I gotta
place
check
you're
that
in.
out. Do you think that would run? I don't have like a good gaming PC right now. Do you think that would run on my laptop? Or
Yes,
like
because I'm playing it on my old computer, and my old computer kind of blows for a lot of. It's old. It's Windows XP. I mean, its video card is pretty good. It has 3 gigahertz, but
I can't believe Steam even still runs on Windows XP.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? That's old.
No, yeah. I have my new computer, but until I get a video card for it, it's kind of in the same boat, and actually it runs worse than my old computer.
All right.
And it's a Windows 7, but no, it works good. It'll work good on your laptop. It's just, if you have a wired Xbox controller, use it and you'll be happy. I wish I could use my PlayStation 2 controller, but I can't, so.
The thing about a lot of these Steam games that are coming out, there's a lot of good ones that are coming out with independent people, and I look at them and it's like, well, that looks kind of cool, but there's like no demo.
Oh.
Most people don't do demos now. And it's like, oh, well, we have this beta thing that we're
That's
still
what they
working
do.
on.
Access
Yeah,
or whatever,
beta-
and you
demos
gotta pay
barely
money
exist
for
anymore.
it.
It's $10, $15 and you can play it. And it's like, well...
It's not done yet.
It's not even done. I don't know if I'm going to like it.
Yeah, why am I paying for this game
Yeah.
that's not done yet?
The point
It's
of a
like,
demo is to
can
know
I
if
have
you
a
wanna pay
demo of
money
just
for it.
a
I hate
little
that.
bit?
I hate that.
So just give me a little tiny thing so I can see if it's something I actually want.
Yeah.
And yeah, most of them don't even have it.
Mail me a demo disc,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, seriously.
It's getting worse and worse. People are getting there's an epidemic of people getting money for games that aren't done.
Yeah, and there's no telling if they're even going to finish it.
That's not a guarantee if they're going to finish the game.
But-
Sometimes they don't. And then you're just screwed.
Sometimes they're in beta for years.
Yeah.
Seriously, years and years.
I mean, it's just an excuse to say, hey, this game's gonna have a shit ton of bugs. We want to charge you for it now. We know you're excited for it because you're jizzing all over for the sequel.
It's basically we're not going to have the game done for years,
why I
and we
used
need
that.
money to pay our people to
Very
keep making it.
colorful.
Yeah.
So buy it, please.
But yeah, I mean, like with Terraria, when I first saw Terraria, I'm like, wow, this looks amazing. And they actually had a demo. And I downloaded the demo I originally saw it on my Xbox. So I downloaded the demo from Xbox Live and went, holy crap, this is a great game. I have to buy it. Because if I hadn't been able to play the demo, I probably wouldn't have ever bought it.
Or I looked at it and go, that's neat.
It's
Moved
like, yeah,
on.
that looks interesting, and then not
The
done
point of
anything.
demos
but-
is to see if you want to buy the game.
Yeah, I like demos a lot.
You don't pay money to see if you want to pay more money.
They're so cool. There are some cool like alternatives to like. I mean, I like what they're like some of the stuff that they're doing on like PlayStation Store that I've seen. Maybe they're doing it on Xbox too. I don't quite remember. But basically, on PlayStation Store, they have this thing where you can do like you can actually have the full game, but play it for like only a limited amount of time. And so it's like a demo, but you can you can get as far as
Yeah,
you
if
can.
you're really
I remember
fast,
playing Mega
you can
Man
do it.
9 and 10 on your PlayStation 3, and you had it that way, and
Yeah.
it was interesting because then you ran out or whatever of time. I went
Yeah.
back to play it and it didn't work. It's like, oh yeah, you never bought this. You were just doing like the limited time deal.
Yeah.
Oh well. But I do have Mega Man 9 and 10 already. I was just bored.
Okay, so Lauren, hey, what's up?
No, not much.
Still playing World of Warcraft?
My game time expired, but something that they
What the
just
hell does that mean?
implemented is now if you have an account.
Oh, your game time expired. I thought you were talking about like the amount of time you've played the game.
Oh
It's
no,
like-
yeah, that'd be
Like-
ridiculous.
it's
Wow,
like-
you've
it's like
played
I-
this
I
game so
played
much.
so many
we're gonna,
hours, it's
We're gonna
like-
cut you off.
Yeah, exactly. I played so many hours I broke the
We
computer.
didn't think anyone
Yeah.
would
It's
play
like
this long.
you're at a
You
bar
have a
trying to
problem.
get
It's
your...
like, no, you can't have any more.
Yeah.
We gotta
you've-
cut you
you've
off
had
now.
enough.
Yeah, they don't let you
Sir,
log in
I
anymore
think you've had
'cause of
enough.
that.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry,
Right,
sir. You've
I
lost
have
your job
enough.
over World of Warcraft. That's too much.
that's it.
You
That's
don't
not
know me. I don't got problems.
No,
Work
they want
crap.
you addicted, and
Yeah, they
they're
want
never
you
going
to
cut you
keep
off.
paying. But something that they just implemented is if you have an account and your game time is run out, it kind of turns it into the starter trial account again.
Oh,
So you can still play with characters up to level 20, just like with the starter account, except you still have all your old characters and stuff. And then it also allows you, if you start a new character, they can join any guild that your other characters are already a part of.
wow.
So,
Can you play your other characters? They just won't level.
well, you
the
can't.
deal?
No, that's
you
what I
can't.
thought. Is maybe you'd be able to play your other characters, and it would just keep them from leveling. But no, it puts them. It puts a little thing next to it saying inactive. But I mean, still being able to play up to level 20 is something.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to like one of my characters that I had started and never actually played with, and I just recently went through and leveled him up to level 20 and was playing with him, having some fun. So it's pretty interesting. So like you guys here who haven't played in forever could actually log into your old accounts right now and
Yeah, if they
create a
haven't deleted
character, or if you had a character that hadn't reached level 20, keep playing with them, and then play some more to see how it looks now that they've added in new models and everything,
Man,
which is kind of cool.
next one you see, just let her die.
It's
Can I still
fun.
exit the level if I
Man.
Yeah.
Well, okay, wait, okay. So, and like you've been basically playing that a little bit still, even though you're done with the.
Yeah, right now I need to get another time card.
Yeah.
And I
When's the next time you're gonna get one? You think?
Oh, I
I know for a
don't
fact you can
know.
devote time to it, because otherwise you've wasted
probably
money.
within the next 2 weeks or so.
Have you been playing anything else?
Playing with my magic cards.
Oh yeah, you got the new deck. What's going on with that? Like, you got the new cards, or got some new cards, or
Yeah, with the newest expansion, they brought out lots of legendary dragons.
Okay.
Boring.
And-
about Majora's Mask 3D.
Jason really wants to talk about his
Jason,
other game.
But
You've had time.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can talk about magic cards. You have exactly 2 minutes.
Okay, Lauren.
well,
2 minutes.
I had a 5-color deck
2 minutes, Lauren.
that was basically just all my random 5 cards that I liked that didn't fit into any other decks, and I had a bunch of legendary dragons, the old ones,
Okay.
in there,
Okay.
and they were fun to play with.
Yeah.
And then I got these new ones, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, let's put them in there.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at my deck, and it's like, well, almost all of my creatures are already dragons. Let's
Okay.
just make it straight up dragon deck.
Okay.
So now I have a 5-color dragon deck with lots of legendary dragons, and it's loads of fun to play with. But it has the same problem of my original 5-color deck, is you can get screwed over on not having enough mana or the right color mana very easily, which is the downside to having lots of different colors in your deck. So that's why most people stick to like 2 colors.
So, who do you play Magic with right now, Lauren?
You guys, whenever we actually
Okay.
play when we come down here, because
So,
You
like,
don't, you don't play with people at work
yeah,
anymore?
I don't play with people at work anymore because I kind of hate sticking around after I get off work just to play with the guys. But I might be switching to the overnight shift, and then I'd actually be able to play with them every night again.
Magic was kind of an interesting like situation with us because it was World of Warcraft too, right? You guys might have
Yeah.
already talked about this on the second podcast. I think is the whole idea is like
Yeah,
Wes and
you
I
guys
Wes and I get into something.
got us into it. And, well,
And
you
then
get
you guys
Jason
stop
into it,
playing.
and then Jason gets me into it,
Yeah.
and then I get more into it than everybody else.
Yeah. I remember like loving Magic like when it was
well,
like starting in
we got-
1995.
We got Jason into Magic years ago now.
Yeah, we kind of went off and on a couple times because I was into it and I always had it in the back of my head like when like for and I was like you and I were looking for some fun things to do and we were into like comics and stuff like that a little bit maybe. I forget how we even got into Magic. How did I do that?
I don't
Because
know.
I don't even
because I was
remember.
into
We
it when I
just
was 10 years old, but then I wasn't into it at all for a long time. And then we got a bunch of free Magic cards.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
we were helping
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
helping a friend we were helping a friend move.
Yeah.
And he just had Magic cards laying around, like 1,000 cards,
Right.
just laying around
Yeah.
from a previous roommate who had left him there. And he's like, "I've had these for like 10 years now. You guys want them?"
Yeah, and I was like, "Ooh, I remember Magic cards," and so I showed them to you or something, and we're like, "Yeah, we'll take them." And I taught you how to play Magic. Did I teach you how to play Magic?
Yeah, because I hadn't played it before. And
Okay.
then, but I think the case was that we didn't really have enough variety, even though it was like 1,000 cards. We didn't have enough variety to make a couple decks.
Yeah.
So we kind of set them aside for a while, and then I don't remember. You just brought up the subject again,
Yeah.
and then we got us.
Then we're like, "Hey, we need some more people to play."
Yeah.
So it's like Lauren and Jason would totally do it.
We got like a starter set or something together,
We got-
and then
we got you
What's
guys
this
hooked
flim
on it.
flam magic? What are you doing? Put your pants back on. Jeez, Patrick.
But no, it was fun.
Yeah, like we got you guys hooked on it, and it really is kind of like cardboard crack.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of the same way. It's like I started playing it, and then you showed us the card store where you can go and buy cards.
Yeah.
And I went like crazy on
"Oh,
that. It's
geez."
like,
oh yeah, where
wow,
you can buy the singles.
Yeah,
2
and it-
cents for this card, 3 cents for that card. Yeah, let's get them.
Yeah, that
Th-
place
this
near
is
us
this
really
is the
like
this is the
best
normal
place.
cycle. Patrick and I get into something. We get Jason into it, and he kind of gets into it, and then he tells Lauren about it, and then
Lauren
Lauren gets
really into
way
it. Like, so
deep
into it.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
I've got so many cards
Like,
now.
I mean,
deep,
Lauren,
deep
one of
down
the
into
interesting
the
things about you
depths
is
of
that
it.
you get so into the games that you're into. Like, it's like you master Magic. You
And
get
then-
all
and
the
then by
fucking
the time-
cards. You
and
get
then-
all the fucking D&D books. You get all the
and
fucking.
then
like,
by the time you get so deep into
Yeah,
it, we're bored.
I get. Well, it was like with Magic and stuff. Is I started getting so many decks that are like really, really good decks now that most people don't want to play because I usually win. But
now I've been like so distracted. And I don't know. I got burnt out on Magic. It probably had something to do with me working at that place. But
well, yeah, that is a downside to working somewhere
Yeah.
where you got to deal with it every day, and then you kind of don't want to deal with it when you're at home.
The main thing that happens where somebody else wins is you don't get mana, or like you've built a deck that's
here, I'm gonna
so-
hold on just a sec, just in case I want to edit this. I want to move this podcast microphone right there. I think we'll be better if we are like that.
Okay, now
Okay.
I forgot what I was saying.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Say it again. What are you saying, Wes?
I don't know. Oh, it was just that usually when Lauren loses, it's because he's not getting enough mana, or he's made a deck that's so complicated that it's like all the cards cost at least 6 mana or more.
That's the downside to the dragon
sounds
deck
like
is
mine.
most of the dragons are 6 mana each.
They're all like epic, whatever.
My
So
White deck,
yeah,
all the
unless I get
cards
my
take
mana
6
ramp
mana,
cards
it's-
out real
yeah.
fast, it takes at minimum 6 turns to get a card.
And then
one of them out.
if my discard deck works perfectly right from the beginning, then I'll just trounce somebody
Everything
with
has
it.
to
Yeah.
work in a very specific
Well,
fashion,
that-
otherwise it doesn't. If it
That
does
is the
work, it's
thing
great.
about any of those types of games is there's the chance involved that you'll either get everything perfect or you'll get everything
Just get
as
screwed.
bad as possible.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll make a deck where it's like, this is kind of tailor made for a one-on-one match. Oh, we're gonna play a group match. I'm screwed.
Yeah,
Or,
I mean,
or,
I
or
have
the
that
opposite.
too.
Or the opposite. I
What game you got there, Jason?
tailor it just
Mega
for.
Man Soccer.
We're not talking about that. I tailor it just for a group match, and then I'll do a one-on-one, and it's awful.
Yeah, because I have one deck that's like great in one-on-one, but you play multiplayer, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
All right. So there's Magic. Anyway, basically,
Something we like to play occasionally.
and something that I got a little bit bored with, and I'm kind of taking a hiatus from at the moment.
Well, then you can do that.
Yeah.
What video games have you played, Wes?
Torchlight.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wes'
That's it.
turn to get into something.
You should talk about it.
Torchlight.
If
You
want.
really played some Torchlight. You played it a long time ago when I bought it, and I didn't play it.
Yeah.
And then-
Well, I played all the way through the story once when you bought it, and then I mentioned it in the second podcast, and then I was thinking about it a bunch, and I downloaded Steam for the first time on my computer, and I bought it for $15.
Holy shit!
And then
Chainsaw Pete.
Yeah, I was playing it for I played it for like 5 hours over the last 3 days, so not too much, but I mean it's
Well, what you were showing me, it looks pretty awesome.
yeah, it's like everything that Diablo is, but better. Like they just it's got like the World of Warcraft cartoony graphics, but
Someone somewhere
It's
just
just-
went, dude, Diablo's the best ever. How could you say that?
whatever.
No, I think a Diablo fan would love Torchlight because they know that it's made by the people that made Diablo.
They
Yeah, I
they
played the
take
first one, and
they
I'm not
take
a
all
huge fan.
they take all the stuff that makes Diablo.
Did I say that right? Were you I was fading in and out of. Were you talking about? Was that a reference to? What were you saying? Sorry.
I don't even know what you said.
Never mind.
They basically take all the things that makes Diablo tedious in any way and just like iron it out and make it to where you almost never need to leave the dungeon. Like
Wow.
you don't want to leave the dungeon because that's where the fun is. That's where the action is happening. And
That sounds like the first Diablo.
they strategically place merchants down in the dungeon so you can sell all your stuff.
That's cool. So you're not like always going back to town. Oh, I'm full
Yeah,
on items.
I mean,
again.
I've used the town portal scroll twice in the 5 hours that I played.
Wow.
But there's also, I mean, I've also used the waypoints too.
Okay.
They have waypoints like in Diablo 2, except you don't have to.
Anyone getting a call? What's happening?
Sean's getting a call.
Sean, you're getting a call. I mean, wait,
Oh,
Lloyd.
Lloyd.
You're getting a
I mean,
call.
Lloyd.
Whoops.
his real name is really Sean.
So
Yeah.
actually, Lauren, you can move
So,
over just a little
yeah,
bit. I'm gonna sit right
Torchlight
here.
Oh, and the other thing that makes it less tedious is like, I mean, you have your own inventory, but every character comes with a pet who has their own inventory.
Oh, so you just
So
make the pet whole
you get
crap.
you get double the inventory space basically, and
Nice.
on top of that, it has separate tabs for equipment, spells, and fish, which is a different thing. Like there's these fishing holes down in the dungeons where you catch fish that have different effects. Like you can feed it to your pet and it turns him into a different monster for a while, and he has different
Jeez,
abilities.
That sounds like the
Or-
Saga series.
Or it has like scales that you can use as gems for socketable
Final
items
Fantasy
that
Legend
give you
for
certain stuff.
Americans.
I don't know, but it has the different tabs for different items, so you're not constantly using up your inventory and having to go back to town to sell
Yeah.
stuff and blah, blah, blah.
That was one of my biggest problems with the first Diablo. Was like, or really any of those types of games. I'm always running out of inventory space, and it's like, oh, well, I got to go back to town and sell this crap.
I get the
because,
same problem
I mean,
with
I
World of
want
Warcraft. I
to
mean-
keep all this stuff. I want to sell it. I want to at least make some money off of
Yeah.
it. So I'm always going back and forth. It takes a long time.
Yeah, that's my problem with World of Warcraft. When I run through a dungeon, it's like people just like walk past all the bodies and don't loot it, and it's like I have to loot all this stuff. It's junk that all you do is vendor it, but I have to pick it up because it's like free money laying on the ground. You just have to sell it.
They've ironed it out even more. Like I haven't actually played it yet, but I was reading that in Torchlight 2, you can actually use your pet. You can actually send your pet into town to sell items for you.
Oh, okay.
And you don't even have to be there.
No,
Wow.
you just tell them like I want
Yeah.
to sell this. I
Just,
guess you just tell them,
mark
like,
the
I want-
items that you want to sell. and tell
Probably.
it to,
I
like,
haven't
go on.
played it yet, but I'm assuming that's what you do.
Do they have any like just junk, like just real junk that's like you know, like in Fallout or Fallout 3 or whatever? Like there's just items that are
Oh, yeah.
literally
It's like,
junk.
here's a
Bent
bent
tin
pencil.
can.
It's like, this is
It's a
literally
pencil.
Do
for
they
It's a
have any
bent tin
items like
can,
that
all
in
that kind of stuff.
Torchlight or
No, it's all useful stuff. I mean, like
that stuff just annoys me.
eventually you're going to find stuff like non-magic equipment items that is basically junk.
Yeah, you're not going to
Because-
use it.
Because you're not
because
going to
you've
use
got all the stuff,
But there's
all
no
the
items.
good stuff now. But
there's no items that are like absolutely
there's
worthless
I haven't
in
seen
every way.
I haven't
There's a rock.
seen
It's not even like potentially this.
I haven't seen
someone
items
uses
that are specifically labeled as this is garbage.
it.
Okay.
And so
Yeah,
but,
like those
like,
games
That
are
always
Morrowind.
confused me
It's
in
always
games.
Like,
Like,
here's
it's neat, it's
silverware.
neat that I like in Fallout I can pick up something that's like, oh, this is just a random item,
And
but
then
it's
I
like
end up
it's
picking up all of it because I have to. It's there. It's a
Right.
compulsion.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
what I do,
I
is
gotta
I
clean this
pick up
house out. It's a
everything.
bunch of burnt books, but I have to have the burnt books.
yeah.
but I
I
mean,
need burnt
I mean,
books.
like what the
I've got a locker of like 4,000.
and then you're over encumbered and
I
all
hate
you can do
reading.
is walk.
I don't like
slowly.
reading burnt books. What were we talking about?
I mean, but
I just like bookshelves.
Torchlight is basically anything
I like my bookshelves full, but I hate reading. Anything what?
anything in Diablo that takes you out of the experience of the game. They've cut out of it. Like you don't have to repair any items. You don't have to worry about ammo with your ranged items. Like you don't have to buy bullets or arrows or whatever the hell.
That's why they took those out of World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was it.
that's-
Was like
No one
ammo management in World of Warcraft
Ammo
kind of
management.
seems.
Not only is
that
it
was
waste
annoying,
inventory
huh?
Like-
space, it's you can't shoot anymore. It's like, oh well, I'm fucked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so and it's like you can basically any class can use any item. It's like the only thing that keeps you from it is like, oh, this item requires more dexterity and you're a warrior, so your dexterity kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But eventually they could use it. There's no like class specific items.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, you could have a warrior that dual wields a sword and a gun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I did for a while, the last time I played, and it's kind of cool. Like if you have if you have distance, then you use your ranged weapon, but if they close in, then you start using your sword or whatever.
That sounds cool, man. Having like a gun and a sword sounds like the early Persona games where
It's
you had a
pretty
gun and a
great.
sword.
It's pretty great.
It sounds like they cut out a lot of bullshit. Like they knew what was fun: fighting monsters, getting treasure, going through the
Exactly.
thing, and they cut out all the tedious. Like this is just waste time and money.
Yeah, the only thing that people might find disappointing about the first Torchlight, if you haven't played it yet, is that there's no multiplayer. Torchlight 2 has the multiplayer.
As someone who only played Diablo 1 player, because by the time I played it, it was like 2011,
You'll
I can
like
say this
Torchlight.
is not a problem for
Yeah,
me.
you'll like Torchlight. And like one of the other things that is kind of just an aesthetic thing for me is basically like you're going down into these mines that kind of endlessly go down. Like in the first Diablo, you're just going down all the time.
Yeah.
Eventually to hell.
Church, caverns, hell.
Yeah, it's
So-
like Diablo 1.
It's
Or is that...
the thing about Diablo 1 is that like once you're in the dungeon, there's these walls that block you in, and then like past the walls, it's just blank space. The aesthetic thing they added is like there's always like an edge to the world where there's like a railing or something you can't get past, but then you look down and there's all this detailed stuff that they've worked out. You can't
Just
go
for
there.
background.
You can't go there, but it like kind of gives a vastness to the world that isn't really there.
Yeah.
And it makes the world feel bigger than it really is.
Yeah.
And like maybe there's some high up area that you can't get to, but then some enemies, like you get
Jump
to a certain
down from
point
there.
and there's some enemies that are triggered and they jump down and attack you and swarm you, or just cool stuff
Whoa!
like that.
That's pretty awesome. Lloyd has employment.
Good job.
Sweet.
Wait, really?
Nice.
Wow.
Cool.
That's
You wanna-
useful.
Thanks for telling me my phone rang.
Yeah, totally, man. I want a job. Wait. Where's my phone?
Man, I wish my
But
phone
anyway, I'm just
Oh wait, I
I'm-
don't have one.
like
I should have
don't know.
answered it.
The hack and slash genre of games is like my favorite ever. I've realized now because I just become totally obsessed with it and never get tired of it. And I don't know, I'm just obsessed with Torchlight right now. And I was waiting for a sale to buy Torchlight 2. I was like, well, maybe I'll wait for the summer sale on Steam and it'll be cheaper because it's like $20 and I didn't feel like spending that right now. And then today, literally today, for some reason, Torchlight 2 was on sale 80% off, and I got it for $3.99.
Wow.
Okay.
So I'm kind of afraid to play it right away because I want to get through Torchlight 1 all the way through at least once. I'm afraid that I'm going to start playing Torchlight 2 and then
not go back
completely
to
forget about Torchlight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I already spent $15 on that.
$15 is a lot. You spent that on Torchlight?
Yeah,
One.
I mean that's the standard price, and I just really wanted to
Yeah,
play
you
it.
wanted
should
it
probably
right
at
then.
least give Torchlight 1 a
That,
fair
that's
shot
why
before you-
Steam sales
Yeah.
are so nice. Is because
So
you'll
I'm
get
like,
something for like
Also-
nothing.
Now I almost
beware,
feel
though.
gypped, but it's still a great game. It's worth $50.
You got a
but
great
It-
deal,
it
and you don't
re-
have to worry about buying it
I
now.
would
it
say
really
be
is
careful
worth
with that. I
$15.
actually tried the demo. Try the demo first of Torchlight 2 before you do it because on my laptop, I don't know how my laptop compares to yours, but Torchlight 2, it's the even though the graphics are pretty much the same, they're a little bit higher demanding. So it's like I remember
Was it a little bit laggy for you?
yeah, it's like it took the fun out of it just a little bit because it's like
I don't know. I have a feeling it'll run okay.
You'll have to try at some point like Darkstone and
Nox.
Nox and some of those.
Yeah.
other
Ooh,
by the way,
yeah.
we looked up
Clones,
we
like
looked up
great
Darkstone on Steam, and the standard price for it is $4.99. So that's that's a great
That
deal.
was a great game that I
So-
never actually played the full version.
Lloyd
on
is showing us
computer,
very
but it was
strange
great.
pictures.
It's Kermit
I'm
the Frog
afraid.
drinking Lipton iced tea with like a picture of, is that Morgan Freeman? No, that's
Oh
Samuel L.
yeah, you
Jackson.
sent that to me, and I was confused by it.
What the hell?
What is the idea behind this?
I don't get it.
That's Morgan. That's him from. That's
We
him
should
from.
use that as the picture for
yes.
this
No,
podcast.
that's Samuel L.
I
Jackson
should
from
use
Black
that.
Snake Moan.
Yeah.
How did you find that picture?
Patrick.
Oh man.
Send it to Patrick.
That's
so we
Samuel
can
L.
use it
Jackson
for our
from Black
thing.
Snake Moan.
Oh, that's a Samuel L. Jackson movie. I forgot about. That's a pretty decent film.
Black Snake Moan. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a neat one.
What about all these snakes on this motherfucking plane?
Well, I guess what else
No.
have you been playing? Wes? What else have you been playing?
Persona 4, Persona 4, Persona 4, Persona 4, Persona 4.
Well, not yet.
Not yet.
No,
Oh,
th-
yeah.
th-
Someone
this-
just finish that game, please, so I can talk about it. Like, I want to talk about Persona 4, and it's like, if I say something, I'm going to ruin the story for people who haven't
Well, we
played it
should-
or watched the endurance run,
No,
and they
this-
need to play
Wait, for our hundreds and I don't know how many people of fans we have. We should
Millions.
say everyone for our millions and millions of fans. We should say play Persona 4 so we can
Play
spoil it all.
Persona 4. It is great,
Yeah.
and I want to spoil it.
Yes. So
You can
Yeah.
do a
We should have-
spoiler
we-
alert
I
at some
just-
point where Jason
yeah,
can talk
we should
about
just have you should finish it, Wes. So because Lauren and I don't give a crap, right?
Yeah, I'll probably never play it.
Yeah, no.
So you guys
Your
can,
loss.
You guys can
This-
spoil
this
it
I
all.
week-
like RPGs, but I'll probably
Yeah.
never play it.
Yeah.
This week I have been sleeping, working, and playing Torchlight. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's kind of
Alright.
like me,
Literally,
dude.
that's
Now, okay, I guess I should probably. Oh well, okay. So that's what you've been playing. So I guess I should probably say something since
Yeah.
like I haven't
What
been
have you
playing-
been playing,
I don't
Patrick?
know. what have I been playing? I've been playing. Try to get work. I've been looking for a job, and I've been dating one person, and then that's it. So like,
Those games sound boring.
Yeah.
You know what's a good game? Jazz Jackrabbit.
Yeah. Again, I'm not really playing a game. I should probably start playing a game since we're doing a podcast that's kind of about video games.
Well, at least
That might be a good idea.
segment of the podcast.
Yeah.
Here,
I've been
I'll
watching
make it
a
up for
movie.
you.
Wait, I can talk about a movie.
You're the movie buff.
Yeah. Well, kind of. Yeah.
Oh, we could talk about Mortal Kombat Legacy.
Legacy.
I watched all those.
Oh yeah. Hey, Legacy is pretty awesome. That's an interesting thing. I mean,
Yeah, that's
basically,
pretty
it's like.
cool.
It started out with this guy that was doing like a kind of a short film. He had the idea of possibly doing, I think he pitched it to someone in Hollywood. Basically, he did a short YouTube video that was really good looking, that was almost like full budget looking, that was about like, it had like some like B-list actors and stuff, like 7 of the actors that play 7 of 9 and stuff playing Sonya. And
Was that like first episode with Sonya and Jackson? They're like infiltrating Kano's stupid thing.
it wasn't the first episode. It was like this trailer that actually kind of takes place in a different universe than Legacy because
Okay, so it's not the same.
yeah,
thing.
but it was still the same guy, and it was still the same actors.
Just the
and
same
it was still
idea.
Same act. It was basically to take Mortal Kombat, make it a gritty, realistic kind of thing. And you know, Baraka was like this guy that wasn't really like a demon or otherworldly guy. He was actually just like some guy that had surgically implanted like stuff into
weird.
himself.
It's almost like the Joker with like a screwed up face, like he was at once was human. So
yeah. I mean,
well,
Legacy.
he's still a human.
Yeah,
It's
Legacy was like so. Then Legacy was what he ended up
just,
doing.
why so serious?
Like I think he got some budget to do Legacy, which is like then that was instead of doing a feature film, he's doing Legacy.
For being like
So-
just silly YouTube videos, like it's good quality.
Yeah, it's 2 seasons.
I
each-
remember watching some of the first season.
I mean,
and got
My
tired of
one
waiting
gripe
for the
so
next
far,
episodes and
each
stopped
episode
watching.
is like 10 minutes long, and only like 6 minutes is actual footage, and the rest is like credits or last time on
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. It's
Yeah.
like, but the stuff is there. I watched it all. It took me like a couple hours, and it's very good. It's well done. I like the actors. I like the setting.
Yeah.
It's really good. I like how they got the actual guy who played Shang Tsung in the Mortal
That
Kombat
is my
movie in the
favorite
second
part,
season
man.
now. Like, man, this whole thing's cool. I'm
that is
excited to see
that is
more
totally
of it.
my favorite part. I love that. I mean, I like a lot of things about it. I think they're handling it pretty well. Given that it's kind of a low budget YouTube thing. I'm excited to see where the 3rd season could go.
I mean, they're selling it on DVD and stores now, so
Yeah.
it must be doing well
yeah.
enough.
Although
for
you
them.
avoided it, Jason, because it comes with Annihilation.
Yeah, like I was looking at it, I was like, that'd be cool, but
Yeah.
then Mortal Kombat Annihilation
Now, that
came
is a-
with it, and
that
it's
is a
like, I
turd.
don't even want to touch that thing.
Yeah.
Gross.
Now the first Mortal Kombat video game movies generally terrible, right?
Yeah, they're generally bad.
But the
And
first
the
Mortal
first one,
Kombat
Mortal
movie
Kombat
is
that
actually
was
a
a great
good
movie.
It's fun. It's
yeah,
fun.
It's not Oscar-winning greatness,
No.
but it's a fun,
It-
silly
and
action
it, and
movie.
it pokes fun at itself along the way. There's little moments where it's like they're just playing with the audience, where they're
Yeah.
just joking, like
If
Johnny.
for a game based
yeah.
off of like a silly fighting game with like just
Yeah.
stop the bad guy and that was the plot, like
Yeah.
it did a lot with the characters
Yeah.
and the setting. It was good. It had some cool budget-y effects, like
I mean, they had a very good like template to work with, which is actually basically Enter the Dragon, which is actually the template for the Mortal Kombat games in the first place.
Yeah.
So they just do Enter the Dragon.
Here's a tournament. Let's fight
Yeah.
each other.
They just do like that Bruce Lee movie, and they basically like just add a little bit more magic to it because Enter the Dragon didn't have any sorcerers in it.
yeah,
Like,
there's definitely the supernatural
Yeah,
elements, but
yeah.
for what was there, it was good.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that and that first Lara Croft movie with Angelina Jolie, like people give that. There's a few of those
What was
movies.
that? Oh, you mean Laura Croft? That's right, Tomb Raider.
Yeah, Lara Croft, the first one, and
Yeah.
there was a couple others. I think I've watched them all. Like that first one, I don't remember much about the other two. It's all right. It's good. It's
yeah.
decent. It actually made the most money out of like I think any of those video game to movie adaptations.
Yeah.
Everyone always thinks like, oh man, Super Mario Brothers movie, stupid, terrible. Like, yeah, it's dumb, but what do you do with a Super Mario
Yeah.
plot back in the 90s? There's no story other than dragon captures princess and hero saves her. It's
Yeah.
that basic plot. It's just, what do you do? Like, if it was not tied to Mario at all, and it was just its own weird science fiction movie,
Yeah.
people would be like, hey, this is a weird little thing. But because they pasted Mario on it, people had expectations, and when it was completely different than the games, it's like, we hate this. It's like, well, what do you expect them to do? They probably never played a Mario game in their life, and here's this weird fucking thing they're trying to figure out, and people are real hard on it, and I actually watched it a lot as a kid, and maybe
It's
that's
actually a
the
decent
thing.
film. It's
Yeah,
like it's kind of
there
just,
is nostalgia.
It's at least entertaining. Like there's so much weird shit going on in that movie that
Yeah,
it's
as
like,
a kid, I knew it wasn't Mario. It's like, these guys don't look or act like Mario. Nothing's the same. It's stupid, but I liked all the weird shit.
Yeah. And I mean,
I
the
was
main villain, what's his name?
Koopa, but he was played by Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
And Dennis Hopper is always
Dennis
a hoot.
Hopper is always awesome, no matter what.
Even Waterworld was stupid.
Yeah.
Waterworld was stupid, but Dennis Hopper was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It does look like shit.
it does look. Yeah,
It's like the best line.
and
from
the one
movie.
thing I liked in the Mario Brothers Super Mario thing that was at the movie that was actually resembled the game was the Ba-Bomb. The Ba-Bomb looked like a Ba-Bomb, and it was funny because it's like a little 1-inch high thing that's
That's got a
waddling along the
wind-up
ground.
thing
It's
that
a little
you wind
wind up.
up
It goes
and
across
let it
the
go.
ground at like half a speck a second, like barely moves.
Everybody freaks out.
And everyone just freaks the shit out. Like a guy is driving a car, he sees it in front of him on the road, he's like, "Ba-Bomb!" And he just slams on his brakes
Yeah.
and freaks out, and everyone's going insane. It's
God,
just
that's a
walking
weird
along.
movie. Man.
It was so funny. I like that Ba-Bomb.
So anyway, yeah. So I've been,
Yeah,
I've watched.
people
I've
are
watched,
hard on video
watched
game
some movies.
adaptations.
Basically, yeah. I was watching Legacy. I'm glad that you saw
And
Legacy.
I guess spoiler alert for people who haven't seen Mortal Kombat Legacy all the way through because
What
they didn't
spoilers
have
are
30
there?
minutes to kill. I just want to talk about the very end of that second season.
Oh, what is it? I
like-
don't even remember exactly what happens.
It's the last scene where Liu Kang shows up and he starts fighting. I think it was Johnny Cage and Stryker.
Ooh.
And it's cool because Liu Kang's actually throwing fireballs at him.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's
Right.
not like, like silly all over the place, over the top. It's like more like you see him gathering flames in his hand, and then
Yeah.
occasionally he'll throw at the dude, and they're
Yeah,
like, "Oh
yeah.
no!" But then Kung Lao shows up, and it ends right with Kung Lao and Liu Kang about to show off
Yeah.
down against each other.
Yeah.
And I like how they made Liu Kang basically a bad guy. Like Shang Tsung came up to him, and Liu Kang's like, "I'm not interested in your crap. Go away." But then I guess Shang Tsung eventually convinces him, "No, you should fight in the tournament because all the humans, they're jerks and they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you should do what you want."
I like that they're making Liu Kang a bad guy.
Yeah, he's
kind of
more.
I mean, he's just getting like in a dark period of his life where he's like
more
doing bad.
dimensional.
He's doing bad shit.
yeah, he's not like a one-dimensional. Like, I'm the hero, hooray!
Yeah.
Like, he's drinking, he's getting into fights.
Yeah.
When the first time you see him in that bar, and he's like starts fighting those punk thugs, and he's
Yeah.
like all drunk, and it's cool.
Yeah.
And Kung Lao comes in, and man, I really like the direction they're going, and I can't wait to see more of it.
So anyway, I did see some other movies and stuff.
What
Like,
other movies did you see, Patrick?
I saw I saw that documentary I was telling you guys about that kind of got me thinking about like
The
just-
McDonald's one that wasn't Super Size Me.
No, yeah, exactly, right, exactly. The one that's called Fed Up. That's just it's an interesting look at like just the way we're. Anyway, I recommend it for anyone that just is looking for something to educate themselves a little bit about, or just see
Nutrition
an
and
interesting
stuff.
perspective on the whole food thing going on.
Food
and-
industry, processed food, and
yeah,
all that.
obesity and stuff like that, and like
Yeah.
why our food is so
Why we're all so fat.
exactly. So anyway, but like it's a good documentary. Honestly, it's kind of interesting. It's really fascinating. It follows like some families and stuff, and it's you get to see a little bit more about like what's going on with the food industry and stuff like that. And it shows a lot of different perspectives.
It doesn't just focus on one guy. and
Yeah,
whatever he
yeah.
is.
It's a fun movie if you're just
That's-
looking to like if you're interested in like kind of like just like learning stuff that's like it doesn't seem so ham-fisted. It is kind of probably trying to deliver a message, and yeah, because I mean the people that made it,
That's
I'm sure
subtle.
aren't
Like,
really.
you're fat, and this is why you're fat, and you shouldn't
Right.
be fat, and
But
just
on it-
like
but it-
forcing
but
it
it-
down your throat.
It tells a very interesting story of like how Americans perceived the evolution of how Americans perceived like nutrition. Like I mean that's like kind of the most fascinating thing about it is just how that evolved over time. And anyway, so that's pretty much like that's boring. But like basically it's like
Did you watch something
No, I
that
mean,
was not boring?
Yeah, no, actually I love that movie. It wasn't boring for me, but I was just
Wow.
thinking it might be boring for you guys. I don't
Tokyo
know.
Drift.
Yeah, so then Wes and I are also doing this other it's
It's
fun.
an amazing podcast
It's an amazing
that everyone
pod-
should
yes,
listen to.
It's an amazing
Yes.
podcast that everyone should
In
listen
fact,
to.
if you're listening to this
God
right
damn
now, you're an idiot.
yeah.
Stop and listen to the
it.
better
Right.
one.
No, exactly. So
Spoiler
right.
alert.
Yeah, stop this right now. I want you only listening to spoiler alert because because it's more of my voice. And so
It's a great reason.
so basically, yeah, no, Wes and I have been having a good time watching the Fast and Furious movies, so we've been doing that podcast. That's been fun because I fucking love those movies.
I've actually seen Tokyo Drift on TV. It's the only Fast and Furious I've ever seen.
Yeah,
And I remember it was silly.
it's really silly.
I like the opening because it was just like the kid getting sent to Japan from America.
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything about Japanese, and all of a sudden it's like, get sent there, go to school next day. All the Japanese kids are laughing at me. Oh, look, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
He's wearing his shoes inside, and then he has to wear the pink slippers because we all took the good ones, and then we go.
It's not
But
like
then he goes
yeah.
racing, and it's like
Yeah.
all just lights and neon and.
You know, it's
silly.
not like high art, you know, because it's totally popcorn shit, but it's the best popcorn shit, and it only gets better. Like, it's so, like, just dumb.
It's got
and
so
fun.
much artificial butter on it. Oh
Yes.
my
Yeah,
god.
what was that thing about the artificial food and stuff?
Yes, exactly.
That's like this, but for the mind.
Exactly. It's like eating McDonald's, but putting in your brain.
My body is in shape, but my brain is rotting.
Yeah.
Hooray.
So anyway, but that's kind of what Fast and Furious is like. I love that kind of shit.
I just
when-
got done reading the Chronicles of Narnia.
Anyway, definitely,
all
like-
7 books.
Like,
Okay, putting that aside.
the cool thing about this podcast is that Wes has not seen the Fast and Furious, and he has seen all of these movies for the first time, and I get to talk about him and talk about the movies with him as we're going through them and getting
That's
them.
always
But
fun
now
seeing
this has
someone's
become-
reaction.
yeah,
the
exactly.
moment
Getting
that
Wes's
happens.
initial
Now this
reaction
has
always-
become a podcast about another podcast that we're doing.
right. And,
Um,
well, I just wanted to, you know.
But that's
Yeah,
what,
no,
that
it's
is
fine.
what you've
Okay.
It's
been
fine.
So, but
I'm-
whatever.
I'm just
So-
kidding. I'm just
yeah, I
kidding.
know you're done. You're, I know.
I've been
anyone
wanting to
have
say
access
something
to
for a
it?
little while here.
What were we wanting to say? What we were? What?
we-
Okay, what did you want to say, Wes?
When you
Share
started
with the
talking
group.
about Mortal Kombat Legacy, that was reminding me of just a weird thing I was doing a few weeks ago.
What?
Is
Fighting?
I just
Fu
decided
fighting?
yes, I was kung fu fighting, and then I decided to go into a Mortal Kombat wiki.
Tournament?
After that,
You entered into a tournament?
Yeah, after I entered the tournament and killed everybody,
Yeah,
I
Wow.
then went onto a Mortal Kombat wiki,
Forward, low
and
kick,
I
cut
just
him in half.
like
that's how I do it.
I just sat there for a couple hours reading all the backstories for all the characters on this Mortal Kombat wiki,
Oh,
and
jeez, I haven't.
Was it
even-
awesome?
it was awesome. And
Isn't it amazing, like how
actually- I
developed
do-
all the
the thing
characters
is,
are
like-
at this point? Like,
Patrick just starts. Oh my god!
it's so cool.
It's-
Like I just
it-
love how like actually like there actually is a story.
Yeah, there actually
Yeah, they do have.
there
their-
actually is a story, and it's just
That's so
fun.
unique
it's,
in the world of
It's
fighting
fun
games.
going through all the characters and actually
Well, the
learning
SNK fighters are
about the
really good with-
storyline.
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
if you just play the
Okay.
games, you don't know anything about the characters.
I
It's
guess
like,
I
I like
blue
that
guy
guy.
kill the yellow guy. Ketchup and mustard. He's a cop.
Like I'm actually more interested in just reading about the story
Yes.
than I am in playing the games.
No,
honestly.
no, it's a cool story. It's
Yeah.
really actually they did a decent job.
Yeah,
And,
they
you know,
actually had to put some thought into
Yeah,
it. They
it's
didn't just
probably
randomly.
the
go
best
through the
fighting
cop.
game storyline ever.
It was the best fighting game storyline before they even had a movie or anything.
Like,
because
there's
actually,
other fighting
they actually
games-
wrote something for the arcade game.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like, here, let's
And,
make a character who's a wrestler. He'll be big. Let's
Yeah.
make some guy who's like got, I don't know, electricity. He can be green. Here, let's make a dude.
They actually come up with a story. They figure out like when you play Mortal Kombat 2, it opens with these words that
Yeah,
tell
the
you
text scroll
the
and-
text scroll that actually tells you the story of like who actually won the first Mortal Kombat, how it happened,
You'll see a
why
character
they're in this
profile
situation.
and what
Like
they are.
there's actually like explanation.
That's why I
And
like
that-
the SNK fighters.
Yeah.
They're the same thing.
I mean, there's fighting games that I like playing a lot more than Mortal Kombat. Like,
Yeah.
I think Mortal Kombat is really cool, but I don't really like playing it that much. I don't know what it is.
oh, I only won like
I-
10
I-
times in a row. Come on.
Well,
I had fun.
I mean,
Oh,
I
man.
love playing Soul Calibur. I love playing Street Fighter, even though I'm not that great at it.
Yeah.
I love playing King of Fighters. I think it's really fun. I even like playing Samurai Showdown now that I've played it a little bit more.
Oh man,
good.
now
But-
you got me
but-
thinking about
but,
something
like,
I gotta talk about.
I don't know, just the Mortal Kombat storyline is the best storyline in any
Yeah.
fighting game.
Well,
It's
that's
just-
why- that's why
hands
I
down
like
the way
the
it
last
is.
Mortal
one.
Kombat
Because
was it
they've really developed
Yes.
the
And
characters
had
and
a
the
great
stories between
single
them.
player.
Yes, Mortal Kombat 9 was like such an amazing like retelling.
It was
of the
those
story.
characters in a
Yeah.
setting, and
Yeah.
they interact smartly. Like
So-
if you put these two guys in a room, they're going to interact this way. It made sense, and it was
That was,
entertaining.
you know,
Yeah, it was
that's
the
something that
only
we were
Mortal
mentioning.
Kombat one I actually played
Yeah.
a lot because it had a really good story.
Yeah, the latest Mortal Kombat Kombat that came out it was actually groundbreaking in the sense that it was a fighting game that had a story mode that was great.
Yeah, it wasn't like, here's an
Like,
opening cutscene, fight dudes, and there's the credits.
Yes.
Like, it had a consistent, good, well-written story with interesting characters.
Yes.
And an intelligent development.
And that makes you care for the characters that you play as. Like, it's actually gives some more...
Like, I never would have used Sonya Blade in that game, but since you have to play as her at some point, oh no, she's fighting Kano because something happened. Now it's like, I'm learning how to use this new character while experiencing the story at the same time. It was like genius.
And I love that
New character.
they finally realized, it's like, well, I mean, I know they always knew they had a good story, but I guess, basically it's... in this latest one, they really emphasized how good their story is by making you play through it with the story mode,
And it makes you
It's
want
like,
to
yeah.
keep playing because you want to see how it wraps up.
Yeah.
Even though it's not as good of a game because it's DC, but Mortal Kombat versus DC, they did a similar thing, didn't they?
Yes,
With
they
the
started
storyline.
with Mortal Kombat versus DC. They started that whole
Yeah,
story
they
mode
did.
thing.
They did that
They've
in
always
that
seen
game
DC
first.
Yeah.
play the
I
game
mean,
a little bit.
even though it's not as good of a game because DC didn't want it to be too
Super
brutal
violent,
and whatever,
yeah.
so the fatalities suck and whatever.
Right.
But it's I remember the storyline being pretty good.
It was, and I love that game, and I
Something
kind of
about
should play through that
merging
game
worlds or
again.
something.
But basically,
They did a good job
when they
with
got
it.
to the next pure Mortal Kombat game, it was awesome. Oh
Yeah,
my god, that was
yeah,
an amazing
yeah.
experience.
It's like they're taking out all their pent-up energy from, censoring themselves for the DC game.
Yeah.
It's like, now he's going to cut him in half and it's going to be bloody and fucking
Make it
crazy.
super
Yeah.
violent.
Instead of oh, he's going to punch him hard and it's going to say heroic brutality and he'll fall down and he has a nosebleed.
yeah, I'm just so passionate about Mortal Kombat.
And
I
now
love
this new Mortal Kombat, again, it's like they did the Justice Gods Among Us, and, superhero, they have to be reined in a bit with the violence. And now this new Mortal Kombat, even the fatalities, I was always a violence junkie back in the day.
Yeah.
Like Mortal Kombat 2, seeing what crazy shit they would do. Oh, he cut him in
I
half.
can't wait for Mortal
This
Kombat
new Mortal
X.
Kombat, these fatalities, even I'm looking at them going, wow, that's kind of pushing it
Yeah,
too far.
it's
I
amazing.
feel uncomfortable looking
It's
at this.
unbelievable. I didn't think it was possible to get such revulsion out of or what do you call it?
It's still comical, but
But basically, that feeling of ugh, I can't
Unsettling,
even
just,
look at that when it's
nauseating,
totally
oh
just a
my God.
polygonal video game kind of thing. Like, how do you get disgusted by something that's made out of
they
so
really
obviously
went
made
out
of
of their
polygons?
way to make sure
Like-
people are disturbed, which I
Like,
think is
I
cool
haven't
for
I
them.
haven't even gotten that. I mean, I actually haven't looked at the new fatalities at all.
They
Yeah,
are pretty.
they're pretty
But
disturbing.
I haven't even gotten that feeling from a movie where it's
Yeah.
they have pretty brutal
Yeah.
gore scenes
Well,
and
they get
stuff.
I don't
really
watch
graphic.
movies like that. Those
If this-
torture
if-
porn movies like
Yeah.
Saw and Hostel. I just.
Yeah, have you ever watched those, Wes?
I've watched Hostel, the first Hostel with
That's
you.
pretty bad.
I haven't gotten into any of the Saw movies. I don't give a shit.
you know what the most disturbing one of those films is? The Human Centipede.
Yeah, I had the unfortunate. I watched that, and I.
You watched that?
Yes.
Oh.
And I don't remember much of it, and a good
Did your
reason.
brain block it out?
Well, yeah, and I was drinking heavily.
Okay.
I had to get almost blind drunk to watch that movie, and
Why did you watch it?
I don't know, because you said to watch it.
Because he was drunk and
I
you
said to
said
watch
so.
it?
You were showing us the footage of the trailer or something, and I had it in the back of my mind for
Oh,
a
I'm
while.
sorry, man.
And then I got drunk, and I was like, "I'm gonna watch it."
wasn't that
And then,
Worse.
yeah,
Okay,
okay,
Lloyd. Well, okay,
whatever.
wait, Lloyd. What
Wasn't that bad.
what movie is worse than that? As far as gross,
Human Centipede
like-
2?
By the way, his name is Lloyd, but his middle name is Sean. It's Lloyd Sean.
Do you mean you've seen worse, you've seen Faces of Death, or is it
Last
there's?
House on the Left was worse than that.
You're right. That's
What?
actually pretty disturbing.
The rape scene was
The
horrible.
rape scene was really disturbing.
Was there an old version of that,
Yeah.
and then a
You may
newer
have-
remake?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the original is really disturbing. Wait, which one are you talking about though? The new
original
one or
from
the
I was
the
watching the
70s?
new one.
Okay, the new one's pretty disturbing too.
I've
The
never
original is
seen
pretty
either.
disturbing.
You need to,
Have you
you
seen
need to
that
watch
one?
the original.
No, I've never
Yeah.
watched that one. But
I've
the
never
Human
seen either of those.
Centipede
I don't know where it
It
is.
was so over the top. It was funny to me.
Which
Yeah, I
one?
guess I
It
can
It
see
was
that
funny.
kind of
You're
stuff.
right. You're right. But the thing
Something
is,
that could
I
never
could be
happen.
imagining it worse because I was so drunk.
it was tough for me to watch it though. The
remember
Human
much.
Centipede, I had to stop it.
I had a bowl of Tootsie Rolls and Hershey's Kisses.
Oh my
I
god!
watched the movie.
Oh man! But
You kids want some snacks for
I really
your
had to
movie
stop
night?
it. Like I watched that movie over a week. I watched it in 20-minute chunks because it's
Yeah.
I had to stop it every 20 minutes because it was disturbing me so much.
Well, I mean, you also
But I'm a kind of a-
you also get
kind of a
highly
pussy with that
you also
stuff.
get you also get highly disturbed by all the David Lynch movies.
Yes,
And
David
when
Lynch
I-
movies
is
make me
David
feel like
Lynch?
I'm actually
When-
losing
when-
track of reality.
What is
Yeah,
David
like
Lynch
I don't know,
movie?
like genuinely disturbed by stuff and have to stop it.
Right.
And when I'm watching it, like
Right.
I feel slightly uncomfortable.
Right.
But
And most
I never have
most
to.
people that I watch David Lynch movies or talk about David Lynch with me,
Who
they
is
don't- they
David
don't-
Lynch? I don't
He's a
know.
filmmaker. He's a
What
very good
movies
filmmaker.
has he made?
Eraserhead, Mulholland Drive.
I've
Blue
heard
Velvet.
of
Blue Velvet.
Okay, yeah, I've seen Blue Velvet actually.
So Blue
Inland-
Velvet's the
Inland
easiest
Empire.
one for me to watch.
Yeah.
Inland Empire.
that had Dennis Hopper, didn't it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That one doesn't disturb me. I mean, it does disturb me, but it doesn't scare me. Like there's lots of movies like Mulholland Drive, like Eraserhead,
Inland Empire
like
was
Inland
great.
Empire.
I've heard of
like,
Eraserhead, but I don't remember it.
what is, there's one movie I'm forgetting.
Eraserhead is great,
There's one
by the
movie
way.
I'm forgetting. Lost Highway.
Yeah.
These movies are films that are tough for me to watch because they send me into like a nightmare state of mind.
Yeah,
like where I
there's-
am really
there's-
like just unnerved. to
There's
a
very
point
little
that-
coherent storyline to it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are storylines within it.
The exception of Blue
But-
Velvet.
yeah.
What happens in these movies?
That's a whole thing you can't even
Yeah.
get into because basically you watch the movie. The whole point is that I don't even
It
think David
basically
Lynch
is
knows
like-
what's
it
maybe you'll
basically
have to
is like
write
a
down like the
There's no
titles
plot.
so I can.
There's
Like, the
there's
whole plot-
there are coherent parts in
Yeah,
it within
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But it doesn't. They don't.
Did
really
David
connect.
Lynch direct the Twin Peaks TV?
Yes.
And that movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I know who they. All right.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to write down the title
Twin
of these
Peaks
movies
is-
so I can look it up.
Twin Peaks is probably the most
I can
coherent
lend you
thing
Eraserhead.
that he's
I
ever
have it
done.
right
Yeah,
here.
I know
Like-
all about Twin Peaks, and
'Cause-
especially since I played Deadly Premonition, and that's basically Twin
Yeah.
Peaks, the game.
Twin
no,
Peaks-
it's funny how much Deadly Premonition and Twin Peaks are like almost
Cool.
identical.
I mean,
It's
Twin
scary.
Peaks is really cool, but I've seen the first season of Twin Peaks, and based
Yeah,
on
they
that,
said the first season was good. The second
Yeah.
season, not so much. In the movie, was
Yeah.
barfy, weird, bad.
well, based on the first season, it just seems like that's the one thing David Lynch did that actually had a real plot and like you could make sense of.
Yeah,
I
like,
actually
story.
I can lend you Eraserhead. I have it right here.
Yeah,
if you want.
Eraserhead is brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Ah.
But so anyway, that's enough talking about whatever movies and stuff. We've been probably going for a while, but
Yeah.
Jason, I wanted to ask you. Anyway, you wanted to talk about what you were also excited about. Like, what was the Majora's Mask 3D or something?
Okay, yeah. So, also circling back around games, I recently got Majora's Mask 3D. I'm a big fan of Zelda games. I'm a big fan of the N64 ones. I think Ocarina of Time is the single greatest video game ever made for several reasons. And I don't say that because some list on the internet constantly put it up there as a good game. I think no. I personally, after years and years of playing that game and having no outside influence, think Ocarina of Time is the single greatest video game ever. And I will defend that forever. Majora's Mask, I think, is very good as well. I never liked it as much, but I really like all the different stuff they did, the direction they went, the weird dark tone, the crazy stuff that happens. So recently they released a 3D version for the 3DS. They did it with Ocarina of Time, and then everyone assumed, oh, they're going to do it with Majora's Mask. Well, it took them a few years, but they finally got around to it.
Cool.
It seemed obvious that they would do it. They did.
Is the 3D effect pretty good?
The 3D and I mean, it's pretty much the same for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. It's
Okay.
pretty good. There's, certain stuff that pops out more than other stuff depending on where you are. And since you're in a 3D world, it emphasizes it in a much better way than like if you, a 2D platformer, it's like, oh, the background's farther away. Like, no, in a 3D world, and maybe if you play it long enough, you start to notice it less because you get used to it. But that's because you get used to it. It feels natural, like looking at it, looking at the world.
Cool.
And it's fun, too. You actually use the gyroscope for the 3DS to aim.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're aiming a bow, instead of moving the joystick around to, like, slide around where you want to aim, you can just hold the 3DS where you want to aim it, and once you get used to it, it's very natural feeling, and you can shoot stuff way faster than if you were using an analog stick.
Okay.
Now, the Majora's Mask on 3DS, I've only played it for about an hour or so, and I'm already seeing a lot of differences. Mostly stuff to clean up the gameplay. Like, Majora's Mask wasn't entirely accessible for newcomers.
Mm-hmm.
It was, they made you play the game under assumption that you played Ocarina of Time already, because it was the exact same engine.
Okay.
Ocarina of Time took its time to tell you all the mechanics, how to use the camera and the sword and everything. Majora's Mask is sort of like, hey, remember Ocarina of Time? Go. New world, go.
Just
we
drops you
played
in and
Ocarina
go.
of Time, so
Yeah.
we could handle it.
Yeah.
But if someone were to just start Majora's Mask without playing the other, they would be stumped. and the game has its own weird rules about the time limit and all the weird stuff you got to do.
Okay.
But this 3DS one seems like it eases people into all that stuff much better way. Like there's save points. Originally, to save the game, you had to go back in time and reset the time for the 3-day cycle, and that's the only way you could save. In this one, there are actual save points throughout the world. You can just talk to the save point, it saves your game, and at that point you can turn it off, keep playing,
So that makes
whatever.
it a lot easier.
Yeah, that would make it a hell of a lot easier.
Okay.
And one other thing I wanted to mention, like I said, I'm only about an hour and a half into it. I'll have to talk about it more, I guess, next week when I get into it more. One big change. In the original, you play the Song of Double Time, which is... It allowed you to skip ahead to the next 12-hour part of whatever day. So say you're on the morning of the first day, you play it, you'll go to the night of the first day. You play it again, you'll go to the morning of the second day, and so on.
Okay.
You jump 12 hours ahead, basically, for whatever point.
Okay.
Although if you were, like, say, 4 in the afternoon on the first day, you played it, you would go to 6 p.m., so only 2 hours. It jumps ahead to those certain points.
Okay.
Yeah, switches from day to night and night to day.
What they did in this new one, and it's super smart and good. You play a song at double time, and then you get to choose at which point in time you want to warp to. So if you're at like 6 p.m., or no, if you're at like 3 in the afternoon on the first day, you play a song at double time, you can skip ahead in hour chunks to wherever you want for the rest of the day. You could skip ahead to 11 p.m. from 3 in the afternoon if you want.
Wow.
And it saves so much time.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's
There's
a lot
this-
of points where
there's
you
this-
had to wait
yeah,
for
there's a lot
certain
of
things to
points.
happen at certain times, and doing something like
you
that.
were
would
killing
make it way
time
easier.
just waiting for a timer to get to a certain point. So
Is
an
that like
event
a
would
good
occur.
aspect, or would you say that's just annoying? Or like,
Well,
do you
that-
think there's something
that's-
about the atmosphere of the game that's ruined because now you
No,
can just kind
it
of...
doesn't. It really
It
doesn't
just
affect the
saves
atmosphere.
time.
It just saves time. It's
Okay.
I mean, it
So,
wasn't
like-
a big deal in the first.
I mean,
place.
because like sometimes when I'm playing something like a game like Oblivion or something like that, like I want like a big open world RPG or something. Like sometimes I want to like just like I don't want to do the fast travel everywhere. You know, it's like sometimes you get more of an immersive experience if you do
walk there.
Particularly with something like
or something
Skyrim.
like that. But like I'm saying, like
Skyrim
with
had
the
a lot of
time,
just random
it's like maybe
encounters
part of
you'd
the
have.
atmosphere
Yeah.
was the time. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm just shooting
it's not
ideas
like
out.
that in this,
But whatever.
I'll give you an example. There's a spot on the first day. It's at night, at like the middle of the night, like 12:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
There's an old lady who walks along in the town, and she'll get robbed by this thief guy waiting for her.
Okay.
You can see the thief guy like standing off to the side, waiting for her, hiding.
Yeah.
And once it gets to like 12:30 at night, he'll attack her, and then you can attack the thief and get the old lady's stuff back, which gives you some items for things.
Yeah.
Anyway, the best you could do in the original, you would warp to the night of the first day, 6 p.m. Then you would go to that spot, and you'd have to sit there and just stand there and wait until 12 a.m. for this event to occur. Unless you were doing something else and then remembered to come back later. But if you specifically just want to do this one thing, you'd have to wait. Because of this 3DS version, you can just play the Song of Double Time, skip ahead to like 11 o'clock or midnight, and there you go. And it is so useful, so convenient to be able to skip to exactly any hour you want of whatever day. It's great.
That's
and
awesome.
I am really looking forward to playing the rest of this because, like I said, Ocarina of Time, best game ever. I really like Majora's Mask. It seems like they cleaned up a lot of stuff in this. Like Ocarina of Time on 3DS made it a little more accessible when they transitioned to the 3DS, but this one seemed like it has way more like changes, but good ones, smart
Cool.
ones, not ones that would like piss off old fans
Yeah.
or make it more difficult, but just smart things that makes it more accessible and fun.
Cool. Well,
I am looking forward to playing more, and I will talk about it more next time.
awesome. Well, that might be a podcast. I don't know. How long have we been going?
Probably a while.
Hour and 23 minutes.
Sure.
Okay, well, that's pretty much a podcast. I don't know. Is
Anything
anyone
else?
Yeah.
Anyone
No,
want to say?
I'm good.
Pretty good. We should like play D&D or something.
Yeah, let's end it.
Yeah.
Let's play some D&D.
That
I'm
sounds
gonna
like
watch
some fun,
this.
man.
Wow, this guy has crazy hair.
Look at the woman on
Yeah,
the
watch
back.
that.
Oh
eraser.
God,
It's pretty
Jesus
good.
Christ, what the hell is that thing?
That part freaks me out.
We'll
All right.
find out next week.
The part with that freaks
Yeah.
me out.
Oh, here's a preview of my talkings next week. Oh my God, Wes, why did you make me watch this? So look forward to that.
Because it's awesome, that's why.
I will.
Yeah, I will take your word. I'll watch it. All right, we are out.